Hey guys, Never Stop Dodging here today, and I'm going to be making my top 10 best units tier list in Dragon Ball Legends in 2023. Literally the start of it, January, after the release of the first LF in the year, the LF Tournament of Power Android 17, and we're going to be taking a look at all the units, the Ultras, Legend Limiteds, and Sparkings, all at 10 stars. I feel like that's where they get to a position where you can notice how good they are and how meta defining they are. So we'll get straight into it. We go from number 10 to number 1, and we're starting off at the number 10 position. Honestly, I really think it's LF Full Power Jiren. With the release of LF Android 17, with the new platinum equip, with a few other platinum equips as well, he is a defensive beast who could do a lot of damage as well. Now that he has like kind of a good team, Universe Rep kind of makes it so that he is a really good unit on that team. I feel like he will get a lot of usability over the next few months, with most likely Universe Rep getting a few more buffs over the next couple of weeks and everything. So he is really good now. He can pair up fantastically with the Android 17. He obviously makes it so that once your enemies have rushed, he gets endurance, and with LF Android 17 you can just make it so that he can just be in the sideline to get them to rush him. He nullifies most units in the game's nullification of endurance and all that sort of stuff, so that he can gain it. I think there's a few units who can just go through his endurance anyway, but he still makes it so that units like Ultra Gogeta, when they rush, won't take him out, which is fantastic, and make it so that then Jiren gets his insane buffs. He gets the endurance, all the power-ups and everything, and makes it so that he's a beast. His green card is fantastic because it's an area green card and you can have a chance of inflicting fate on your opponent. The blast damage is great, blue card is nice, ultimate is nice. Like, he always was pretty decent in most areas. It's just that he needs a team to fully be able to utilize his kit and everything, and now he is in a very good position. So definitely my number 10 unit. Next we move on to number 9. I'm gonna say it's the Tag Trunks of Vegeta. They are good. They do nice blast damage, they do decent blue card damage, which it did more, but it still is pretty good. They have nice greens, their tag mechanics into each other is nice. I feel like the better version is when you go into Vegeta, into Trunks from Vegeta, because you get that restoration of Vanished Gorge as well. You do get a lot of healing. The green card with Trunks is nice because you draw the blue, which does a lot of damage. The first initial blast card having 2 seconds of cover chain notification is nice. Wish they did it so that it was on every single blast rather than just the first one used, but it's still nice. Trunks drawing a bunch of blasts is nice. Vegeta with his green drawing a blast and everything is nice. Like, they are a nice unit. I feel like they could have always been done better, but sadly that's just not the case, and that's why they are my number 9 spot. So still a pretty good unit, just could have been better. Next we move on to our 8th unit, and that is the superhero Pan. Now, she is still a menace to go up against. Everything about her is ridiculous. Like, everyone knows what she does, but let me just remind you. First, she does decent damage. Just as a support type, she actually does good damage. Her strikes, blasts, and definitely her blue card is very good. Her blue card is very annoying. The green card, I think, is one of the most annoying green cards in the game. Reduces your battle members on standby, their sub count, by a couple of counts. You then make it so that your enemies can't use their main ability. When she's hit, she reduces your enemy's key, making it so that they can't do too many crazy combos against her, and then it makes it so that your teammates can come in faster. She has a main ability that is probably one of the most broken main abilities ever. She gets key, she gets your teammates sub count reduced even more. She draws a green and a blue. She has so much support capabilities that is ridiculous, and she's just crazy, man. I don't get what they thought when making her. Like, to consider seeing her still after 3 months just a sparking unit in top 10 is actually ridiculous. Like, a 1% sparking, that's insane to maintain the top 10 position for that long. So she is very good. Next we move on to Future Gohan. Still a crucial unit for his roles. Like Future and Hybrid Saiyan definitely got buffed up pretty nicely over the past couple of months, especially Future, and he is fantastic for them. His unique equipment is like a must-have. Without that unique equipment, especially the final slot as a red slot, he doesn't have or hold as much value as he does with it. Like, it is ridiculous because of all the support and everything he can give with it. Like, it's mainly his support, his cover change, the disruption of destroying 2 cards on the cover change that is the main fantastic thing about him. He can also do a lot of that. Like, his strike is really good, and then restoring vanished gold with his strikes is nice. He has the capabilities to have card draw speed. His main ability during the ultimate is ridiculous because he gets so much cut penetration that it's insane. You can do a lot of damage with the ultimate. His green's pretty nice, his blue's pretty nice. He has the ability to make it so your opponent's strikes are locked, their blues and greens are locked, which is always annoying when your cards are locked because you have to just wait, or if you have a full hand of the cards that are locked, you can't do anything. So that is very annoying. But on top of all that as well, he has endurance, which is always fantastic because it makes it so that you can, depending on the opponent you're up against, you can control rushes and everything, make it so that they don't want to rush, or they literally can't rush without them knowing they're going to rush a unit that won't die. So a very good unit. I'm pretty sure, he's 2 years old now, I'm pretty sure. He came out 2 years ago as the first LF of the year. So yeah, he's around 2 years old, and to be 2 years old and be in the top 10, that's top 7, that is ridiculous. Okay, next unit we're going on to is the Zenkai LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I love this unit. I use him so much. His damage is ridiculous, especially his strike, his blue card, his ultimate. Like, it's mainly his strike that is impressive because you could use the strike so many times. It is insane. His blast damage is actually pretty good as well, considering how much his strike damage does. Of course, if his strike and his blast is doing that much damage, his blue card and ultimate are going to be ridiculous as well. His green card, a lot more value to it now because it powers you up a lot, restores a lot of your value score. It's very good. He has 2 cover changes, I believe 2 cover changes if he's with GT units, which you most likely will want to use him on the GT team. So you most likely have 2 cover changes all the time. And of course, he has the main ability, which is very good. Draws the ultimate that, as already said, will do a lot of damage. Can probably one-shot most units in the game, especially if you do like a drop, you catch them sidestep and you use the main ability, they are dead. Like, unless they're a revival unit, it's game over for them. He then has it so that when he's, I think when one of his battle members have been defeated, or when he's last man standing, I can't remember between the two, but I think he has the ability to gain cover change nullification, which makes it so that he can just pummel away at his opponents and he will be doing damage, like insane damage. He is really good, so I'm definitely happy at putting him in the number 6 spot. Now onto our top 5. Our 5th position unit would actually be the newest LF to the game, the LF Tournament of Power Android 17. He is really good. Like, his ability to, like, his gorge, first of all, when it's filled up, is very good. A lot of benefits to you, very good. You can then use the green when his gorge is filled to get the cover chain notification. You get key from it, do a lot of damage on everything. It's very good in that aspect. He then has endurance, which is fantastic. When his gorge gets filled up, he gets like healed up and everything. He does more damage, more ultimate damage, so you most likely will want to have his gorge filled up before he uses main ability or everything. And the good thing about his gorge is that it fills up even when he's not on the battlefield, which is pretty nice. And on top of all of that, he has capabilities to cancel your opponent's attribute upgrades and everything. So let's say you're up against Ultra Gogeta Blue. He has the ability where when he rushes, he nullifies the duels. But because that's a gained ability, well, it's an attribute upgrade, I believe that makes it so that Android 17 won't get his cover change, his endurance nullified, because he will then remove that buff, which is fantastic. It's a great counter to him. He actually is a pretty good counter to him because he does more damage against fusion warriors, and on top of all of that, he does nice blast damage as well. He gets card draw speed from just his blast card, so he could use a lot of cards over a short period of time. He could get so much card draw speed. If you pop the main ability as well, you get the cover change notification for 30 timer count, so you can, let's say you have a full hand of blast, you got full key and everything, you use a blast, you got card draw speed, you pop the main, you keep on using the blast, you get so many cards, and then you use the ultimate. You most likely done a combo long enough to take someone out or deal so much damage to your enemy's team that you are in a very favorable position. Like, you are going to be doing very well there, so he's definitely worthy of being the top 5 at the moment. Next, we're going to move on to our 4th position unit, and that is the Zamasu that was part of the second part of Legends Festival. Honestly, insane. Really good. Once again, endurance. We're seeing a trend of quite a lot of the top 10 units having endurance, but he is very good. He can defend fantastically, reduces your enemy's key upon like getting hit and everything. He has the green card, which is very good, can counter strikes and tackles and that sort of stuff, and make it so that you get cover chain notification, you draw a card, you can do more damage. His main ability is very good. You get another one of those green cards, you get a lot of benefits from using the main ability. I'm just trying to think. I do believe he heals up with the main ability, so that's also great. He then has it so that his strike damage is nice, his blast is very good, his blue card is insane. Like, this guy, I think the best thing about this guy is his tanking abilities. He just doesn't take damage. If you set him up nicely, he's just going to be a wall that can also do a lot of damage, can get into positions where if you have a green card and they have a rush, and let's say you're up against a GC team where they have the Zenkai LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku on the team and he still has the cover changes, use the green card, you can rush freely, you don't have to worry about anything. So I think that is very good. To have that ability to gain cover chain nullification over and over again is very good. So he is a very good unit in my opinion. Really good. So onto our top 3 now. In 3rd place, I'm going to put the Tag 4s. Now, the Tag 4s are actually placed somewhat above Zamasu because Zamasu has gotten so much better with Android 17. They make a crazy pair together, like insane. And these two are now at a position where I would honestly say that's how close they are. Literally, they are around the same, but I slightly put the Tag 4s ahead only because they are ridiculous. Once you get going with them, you will just tear through teams. First of all, Goku and Vegeta's damage with every art is just insane. The green card is the area green card, which then makes it so that you draw a card and you can attack. You get key for it as well, so you will most likely be able to use that card. Their blue cards, fantastic, because it does a lot of damage. Even if you just use the blue card without any other cards in your hand, it does a lot of damage. But then with more cards, it does more damage and restores more vanish, which is really good. So that is fantastic for that. And honestly, you most likely get into positions where you can just use the blue card when you have a full hand, so you get your vanish completely back. Because if you do, depending on how many cards you destroy in your hand, depends on how much vanish you get. And of course, using it with all of it, you get your vanish back completely. And then of course, you tag in from Goku to Vegeta, he gets card draw speed, he gets cover chain notification. He will most likely be able to do a combo long enough for you to then go back into Goku. You get key as well upon tagging out, so it's fantastic. And then Goku, when he's tagged in, draws a blue, so you most likely will have a couple of cards in your hand, restored a decent amount of your vanish, so that even if you don't have a full hand and you use the blue, you'll restore enough for you to get your vanish back and just be able to dominate even more. And Goku has it so that he does critical, like his critical rate goes through the roof. There have been times where you just come into him, use the blue, and it's a critical blue and it's taken out the unit, and you're like, okay, fantastic. And of course, the blue cards nullify endurance, which make it so that you get powerful attacks on your opponents and you nullify their endurance and get the LF. So it's very good. Now onto the top 2. This is honestly, these two are very close to each other. I was close to saying Beast was number 1, but I think I'm going to stick to Beast being number 2 at the moment. I think Beast Gohan is insane. I actually really like the fact that he is insane, because you have to think he's literally the newest, most hype unit we've gotten in the Dragon Ball franchise for a very long time. I think since Gogeta Blue got announced in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Did I say Super twice? But you know what I mean. Gogeta Blue got released there, the full power body and everything. But this guy was the newest one, and he was everything you wanted. Card draw speed, a gourd that once it's filled up is insane. Nullifies cover change, gives you card draw speed. If you use a green or blue while your gorge is filled, it reduces the gorge to 0. You go type neutral. The blue card will do a ton of damage. The green card will just make you go type neutral for both of them. So the green card mainly makes it so that you still vanish, you use your gorge, and you go type neutral. The blue card does damage and what the green card does. The green card just obviously makes you more powerful as well, and draws a card so that you can combo even further. He has those are just with his gorge filled. You can use the green card and blue whenever, of course, when his gorge isn't filled, but it's just more beneficial to use it when the gorge is filled. And of course, you just keep on going with him. You could go to a point where you use your green, or you most likely use a green card when his gorge is filled. You got card draw speed. You literally just filled his gorge up so that you got the card draw speed, you got the nullification of cover change. You use a green literally instantaneously when it's filled. You draw a card. You then combo long enough for your gorge to fill up again, so you got more card draw speed, you got more cover change, and you would type neutral. You then use another green if you're like in a situation where you were very lucky and you got that, and you just keep on going and going and going. And this guy hits like a truck. I only have him at 5 stars, and I have gotten into situations where I've gone up against the Tag 4s, the Zamasu, when I know they've been built defensively, or they're in a situation where I'm up against Vegeta, and you can still see very good damage. Like, you go type neutral, these lot can't really handle him at type neutral, because even if they're in as Vegeta, who normally has type advantage over him, he just pummels through him absolutely ridiculous. Then you have other aspects of him where he has endurance. If your enemy rushes, he can destroy your enemy's hands. You can use the main ability, which gives you one of the most powerful ultimate arts in the game. It is so ridiculous. And of course, he's on a lot of very good tags at the moment. Movies being one of the better ones, of course, with Ultra Gogeta Blue, Pan. Like, those are the main 3 you'll see, and then a bench buff in there. But ridiculous unit. I would like to see how he do once some of the Legends Fest units have gone out of boost. Obviously, we can't predict he's going to be number 1 or anything, but I'd like to see how he'll do then. But that is definitely my number 2 unit, Beast Gohan. And then number 1 is a bit obvious, Ultra Gogeta Blue. He is my favorite unit to use in the game at the moment. He is just something else, man. I was lucky enough to get him 2 times, so it's very nice. But 10 stars, as I said, is what we're taking a look at him at, and my days is ridiculous. The damage is out of this world. Strike damage is insane. The strike damage, with the amount of equips he has for him, like, they introduced a new platinum and a new awakened plat that you could give to him, that makes him even more ridiculous. And then you have so many equips that just make him ridiculous, that he is just out of this world. His strike damage, ridiculous. Blast card damage, ridiculous. His green card, very, very good. Makes it so that you nullify cover change. You can draw blue, and your blue card does so much damage, it's insane. And he has a gorge that makes it so that once it's filled, it'll make it so that your opponent's strikes are destroyed and they only have blasts. And that gorge counters blasts in a way where if they use a blast against him, even if it's sidestepping or just standing there watching you use it, he will counter it, draw a blue by destroying one of the cards in your hand, and then you'll be able to combo a blue into it. So that controls the game drastically, because this meta is so heavily strike based that it's ridiculous. And then when you come across the position where you're like, yeah, I want to use my blast based units, his gorge is filled and he can't, and so that you just have to wait patiently. So if you do try to use blast based team, you get punished for it, because Gogeta Blue exists. And then don't even tell me about his rush being able to just nullify endurance every single time, restoring his vanish, which is insane. Just completely restoring it. So you could be in a position where, let's say he's last man standing, you're up against your whole opponent's team, you get into a position where you take out one of them, you come across the endurance unit, they can't swap out, you've got no vanish, you've rushed, you've taken out their endurance unit, and you've got your vanish back, and you could take out your opponent now if you play smart. And of course, I haven't even mentioned the main ability. His ultimate is so powerful that it is insane. Like, he has abilities where he can go type neutral as well, and my days, if you get a type neutral ultimate, I don't think there's a unit in the game that can survive the onslaught that he's about to into. Like, he is ridiculous. So that is my top 10. Very, very good. These two very close to each other. There's a little gap between these two very close to each other. These two not too far off from each other. I'd actually say he's pretty much the same as him, just a slight difference. These two very close. I was actually close to putting him in 5th position. Then I'd say there's a bit of a gap, not too great, but you could kind of notice these two are very close. There's a gap between there, and then these two are very close, and I'm content with saying that this is my top 10 at the moment. It is very good. They are very good units. You could have a few swaps here and there, as I mentioned, between these. You could even change it drastically yourself, but that's my top 10. Let me know in the comment section below how you change it, if you completely agree with it and everything, if you'd say, okay, I agree with you, but you have to drastically change this unit and that unit, or just change this unit off it completely. I'd love to hear what you say. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. Obviously, more in the future, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.